Yanni, and today we're going to do a simple lesson of learning how to play within key and create diatonic chords with very minimal chord knowledge. So, assuming that you know like the basic bar chords like major, minor, and then dominant 7, and then a few open ones such as G, C, D, A, E. You can get from playing chord progressions in key. So if you're ever at a jam session or someone says it's in the key of G, you want to play chords with it or make up chords, you know what chords are going to work and you know why, or hopefully a little bit why. So basically the major scale is comprised of 7 notes. Now if I were to take those notes and have to make chords on every single one of them, the chords are going to end up with certain qualities, like certain ones are going to be major, certain ones are going to be minor. One in particular is going to be a dominant 7, and one is going to be a half diminished, which is basically like a minor chord, but with one of the notes, the 5th note, flatted. So building upon that scale, you stack chords. How you make chords is you do thirds. So it's almost every other note. So this would be like 1, 2, 3. So that note's going to be in there. And then 4, 5, the 5th. So it's root, 3rd, and 5th. Now the 3rd is a really important note in it because that determines, I want to say gender, but almost the quality of it. It determines whether it's a major or a minor. Because here's one with a major 3rd chord, and then you make it a minor 3rd, and then it becomes minor. You see, it's like major, minor. So if you were to stack all the notes that are in that scale, what you would end up with is the first chord is going to be major, the second one is going to be minor, the third one is going to be minor, the 4th one is going to be major, the 5th one is dominant 7, the 6th one is going to be minor, and the 7th one is going to be that diminished one, which was a minor with a flat 5. And then the major again. So you can almost hear the do. Kind of, you can almost hear the do, re, mi kind of thing going on. So then, if you were to take that now, and you remember that 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is minor, 7th is that weird, the half diminished one, and then 8. Okay, so now taking these scales 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now using the number system, if I were to say, let's play a chord progression in the key of G with it being like a doo-wop progression, which would be a 1, a 6, a 4, and a 5. So you could go 1 is going to be G, so G major. 6 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's E, so E minor, but you could do this one if you knew it. And then 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 4 is major, so C major. And then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 would be major or dominant 7, which always wants to lead back to 1. We'll get into that later though. 1. So it'd be 1, 6, 4, 5, 1, 6, 4. Alright, so that's just one example. Now, one thing I was going to say is that 5, in tension and resolution and in chord progressions, chords are usually either staying somewhere or they're going somewhere. So it's all about the tension and resolution. You create a chord progression, you start out, like, we'll take that one for example. You hear how it's like home, now it's away from home. It kind of wants to go back home, and now you hear it go back to home. Just like that. And you can do that with any chord progression because music is fundamentally based upon tension and release. So you want to create chord progressions that start somewhere but then always resolve back to its home. And one of the strongest ways to do that in music is using the 5 chord, which, remember, once again, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we start on this as being home, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 always wants to go home. You know, it's just like that kind of exhale, that final part of the music. So you can create these chord progressions starting on your one note, but when it comes time at the end of the sequence, you want to have it then go back into home, and nothing makes it want to go back to home quicker than a 5 chord. And sometimes it's the 5 chord of a different note. So it's like, let's say, you know, we're playing that major scale, but you decide you want to start your chord progression on the second note, so the 1, 2. So this one, you want to count 5 tones away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that one, oh, I almost want to hear it go in this extended 5s though with that one because it's minor. But the 5 will resolve to that. But with this, you want to hear now, I'm thinking like a series of 5s because I'm doing the 6th note to the 2nd note, 5, 1. And then listen how that sounds. It's just like a series of resolutions. So once again, so the number system is a great way, you know, to use. And once you memorize that, the first one is major, second one, remember, is minor, third is minor, fourth is going to be major, fifth is going to be like a dominant 7, 6 is going to be minor, and then 7 is a weird one, which definitely you can use. Now that the 7th one is going to act almost like the 5 chord because it kind of wants to, but it's more of a tense way of pulling towards the 1 chord. But the 7, like the you know, the T-do kind of thing going on. So that's one thing. But a good thing is once you remember the chord qualities, now that scale, you know, if you know those ones that the one's going to be major, so on and so forth, then you can literally take that and someone could say, let's do, which is a common blues progression. Blues is basically based around the 1, the 4, and the 5. And so when they say 1, 4, and 5, you can say, let's do a 1, 4, 5 chord progression in the key of A. You know that, okay, just kind of deductively thinking, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that A is going to be my first major chord, then D, you know, because it's the 4th, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I go back to the 1, let's say, and I call out 5 chord. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be E, dominant 7. So 1, 4, 1, 5 would be like 1, 4, 1, 5. Now you want to hear it go home. Now we're kind of away from home, back to home. Now the 5 is going to lead us right back in. You know, so you definitely want to use that 5 chord pull to your advantage. So to go over it again, and this is like not covering the theory of it, because basically I arrived at these major and minor chords by just building chords that were the notes only in that scale. And so don't forget, so like, let's say if you're jamming with your buddy and they play a 1, 4, 5 in that, you know, then you can use always the scale to play like leads or come over melody. 1, 4, 1, 5, 4, 1, 1, you know, or so on and so forth. But or you could just even create simple little melodies. And that was just basically outlining the notes of that chord. So, and you'll see that a lot. Like, it's called the Nashville number system, where a lot of guys go in to play songs and it just, there's numbers up above it instead of chords. But if you know that and you just memorize that, you know, like the major scale, like the first way to start off doing it is to learn how to construct the major scale, but like get that, you know, and once you kind of know that, then you can just kind of like deduct that the 1's going to be major, the 2's going to be minor, 3's going to be minor, 4's going to be major once again, 5 dominant 7, 6 the natural minor, 7 that weird kind of diminished, which is a flat minor chord with a flatted note in it, and then major again. So, just great thing to do too is just randomly pick 4 sets of numbers, or just randomly have someone next to you just shout out between 1 and 7 or 1 and 8, 1 and 7 probably, 4 different numbers, and make a song out of it, and then take the major scale and try and play over it and see if you can construct a melody in that chord progression, or something in that scale. And it's really fun, and it's a really random way to just sit there and make music. You call out anything, say 6 4 5 1, 6 in the key of G, 4 5 1. So definitely, I guess that's kind of hopefully helps you along a little bit, maybe explains or something of how to play in key if you just know the scale, and so just by using that simple pattern of knowing that which ones are major and which ones are minor, you can create chord progressions in a key, and you understand it a lot more, and it helps in like songwriting and things like that. So, okay, thank you.